Absolutely, it's Shazam Poop calling out, asking if Numbers Committee is watching. He says, "I'm too good. I have a hat trick. You can't stop me." Let's see. He's still down by a goal.
That's a bold move. Let's see how it plays out.
I'm gonna transition into it.
Jamie with the long ball. That's going to be off the backboard. The Devil and the goalie. Enigma with the goal. That's going to be the dagger for sure. 20.
Over to Viglio from Judgmental. Viglio gets the first touch, can't get the second. Judgmental puts it into no man's land. Canadian thinks there now with a lot of boost to work with. Air dribble towards that. Canadian thinks with the game winner.
Ray waiting for it. Ball out in no man's land. Gets up. Gets the extra touch. Throws it through. Oh my gosh. Dre with the LOB putting in work like that's his JOB. And I cannot believe that is a one-man wrecking ball.
Watch out, Beck's really proven to be a game changer in this best of 7 here. A shot maybe coming down from Nautical, not able to read that touch from DQ though, and Og trying to get another touch. DQ dumps it down. Don't forget, this is match point.
Welcome back to yet another exciting episode of RSC action here as we're getting the pre-jump underway for week 11. We're going to be going live to you here as we talk about some of our fantastic subjects here this week. Sorry, I'm a little sobering up here, just getting everything going. On the desk with me tonight, I've got Mr. Rob returning as always. Jumping in with Mr. Hum Diggity there. And then returning as a guest for us, we've got Mr. Iwu Kami.
Sup. Gonna be a good night, I think.
Man, you know, I think it's gonna be a great night. It's been a lot cooler than it's been around here lately. It was been in the 90s last week. I know when Rob, we were in Boston, that was a wee bit on the toasty side, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was sweltering, if you will. That was way too warm. I am not used to the East Coast humidity. I live in Wisconsin. I do not need to be walking through a hot shower as I leave my door in the morning.
No, dude. Like I literally every lunch I was walking out of that Airbnb, walking down the street for about a block and a half to the Trattoria getting a sub, and I just, oh my god, man, I was sweating. 2 blocks, I'm already. It was bad.
At least the actual arena was a hockey rink, so you know they kept it nice and cool. Shout out Boston University. But the actual venue itself was pretty nice the entire time, I will say.
Oh, I would say so. I mean, it got real rough at the end there when we were getting ready to leave. I know I had my flight canceled twice trying to get back home, so that was a fun one. We got to see though some really solid Rocket League action. Something that I really obviously should have anticipated with it being the pro scene. I don't know how much Ethan or Hum you guys caught from all that. I didn't get the luxury of meeting you guys there. Where were you?
Well,
I was stuck at home.
Stuck at home. Oh man.
Talk about some heat. I was relaxing on the beautiful beaches of South Carolina, watching some Rocket League and watching Team Vitality win it all. They're the greatest, and it's not even close.
But you caught all that, right? Did you see the Rule 1 matchup between Rule 1 and Vitality? With Rule 1 taking 29 saves in Game 3 on that 12-minute OT, man. That my heart was like, I'm sitting there, like the whole crowd was going wild for that team, and my heart was just pounding constantly.
Yeah, that was one of the times where I was like, I really wanted to be there, and I want to go to a LAN, and that was one of the better ones, I'd say. I am pretty big into the esports scene, so it was cool, and it was nice seeing that underdog story from Rule 1.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, Hum, I don't know about you, man, but 3 straight OTs in that series. That
I was sweaty.
Slight understatement. I mean, I was sweaty. They were going at it. They wanted that chip, and Vitality getting the double bracket reset in the finals. Probably just putting the cherry on top, honestly. I know for most of us in the crowd. I know T-Sant wasn't really excited for it. He was rooting for BDS, but
You can't have everything as a BDS fan. You know, you got Worlds last year and this year.
Yeah.
Still got Worlds to come up, but we'll see how it goes. They're looking pretty hot right now, at least.
And one thing I really loved. So we had Rob. Who was the last guy in for America? Who was the last guy in for North America? That was Chronic, right?
You loved this. I absolutely hated this. I thought that it was playing on a lot of ridiculous tropes. I cannot believe that we had Vitality got the crowd to chant USA over and over for a French team. It boggles my mind.
Dude, both finals teams were both French teams with French players, and the crowd's chanting USA because
It's in the USA, baby.
No, dude, Vitality's waving like flags. They're waving American flags in between each goal, dude. They were pandering really hard.
I will say nothing compares to the unwavering nationality of America. So it's great, to see. But one wave of the flag and the whole stadium gets as loud as it's been the entire time. That was sarcastic. I think that's pretty silly. I think they should have cheered for whichever team they wanted to win.
When
That's
North
fair.
America shows up did they show up? Not really. Someone had to get the crowd into it.
Ew, are you hiding behind your name right now?
Am I? I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
What are you nervous about, man? We're just talking about some RLCS action before we get hot and heavy into the meat and potatoes of RSC action. What do you-
RSC's better. Go ahead.
This actually reminds me, real quick. Shout out to all the RSC homies that I ended up getting to sign my jersey. I got like Arsenal and Justin and Lethamir, Tenacity, like a bunch of other people on there, right? But like there's like Donovan, Alo, Donald, oh my gosh, T-Sant, Ghosty, Chad GPT, Chiss, Logical,
Should be a
Razor
Boss
Elite,
Radala
Ricky
on there
Spanish.
somewhere.
There is a Boss Radala on there somewhere that I can't. There it is. And Nick M. So I just wanted to say shout out to all the RSC people for showing up, showing out strong. Like in Boston, of all places, we showed up with probably the largest crowd of anybody there. So it was really cool to meet a bunch of people that I've been talking to for a while, and we kind of ran it. It was really neat. So shout out all of us.
And I saw casting for MLE as well. I saw MLE's group together picture, and it's not nearly as big as the RSC one was. That was huge. I know that on a couple of days I ended up hanging out with Callie, Razor, Donald for a good bit of it as well. But dude, that was a huge crowd. Crops arm sleeve, sold it. It looks great in video. It looks even better in person, man. I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, it was good though. I had a great time meeting up with a bunch of RSC people.
I think the neatest part was that there's this trope a lot, and I'm not about to sit. I would like to caveat this with, don't trust everyone you meet online, right? Like obviously,
For sure.
but it was really cool to go to a place, meet a bunch of people that I feel like I know in person, and have them be exactly who I thought they were, right? Like it's very validating to know that all these homies that I consider homies really are, right? Like they're cool dudes. They're fun to hang out with, fun to chat shit with. Shout out the Garden's rival team. Had a bunch of fun at their Airbnb. But there's really just a bunch of really cool guys, and it's dope that we have a community that we do to kind of facilitate that.
Before we kind of get going a little bit further, anybody who's watching the chat for the first time ever, we've actually got some Monster Cat music playing lightly in the background just to kind of fill the void that is my soul. But if it's a little too loud, please let me know. I am producing and hosting tonight, so I'm running double duty. I'm still paying attention to you, though. I'm still keeping an eye out. So 100%.
And on that, just a big shout out, Boz, for doing both of those. Thank you, man.
Oh, not a problem, man. Look, I honestly love having the podcast every week. It's something I look forward to, really. I mean, I'll be sitting at work, and I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times I'm making graphics, or I'm doing something else in between estimations. So I'm just I'm just hanging out.
Nice.
But we talked a little bit about Boston's championships, but I was really glad, Rob, that we were able to use the Landy Boston chat and Discord to kind of coordinate a little bit and really get a huge group of us together in, what was that, 116? Is that where we had a huge?
Yeah, we got like a group of. If you go check it actually, Land Boston in RSC chat, and then scroll back like a couple days, right? You'll be able to actually see the picture in the section. But we just got like everyone. There was just a whole open section, and so all the RSC people, right? We just got them all. Said come to 116, and people were just funneling in like rows on rows on rows, and it was really. Again, man, it's cool that we have this position in a league where we just have a bunch of people coming to say what's up, and everyone is cool. Everyone wants to be friendly. Everyone's excited to meet each other.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of environment, just like it's easy to take for granted, but there's a lot of people who put a lot of work into making RSC and making the franchises what they are every single day. So like. And with a lot of the stuff that's going on right now in kind of behind the scenes in RSC, among say some GMs and admins, I would like to give everyone who plays a part in making this what it is a huge shout out. Lamone, Blister, Tinsel, right? Like they've been doing a bunch of work behind the scenes to help facilitate some really positive changes in RSC, along with a number of GMs. Shout out Shamu, shout out Tech, shout out a bunch of other guys, right? Who really helped push forward some changes that I think will make RSC not only a more productive place, right, but it'll help us grow and help us facilitate working together and continuing to grow what is the largest amateur Rocket League in the entire world, right? The largest one. And we're doing what we can to take steps forward, and that's really, really cool. So shout out everyone who plays a role.
I also want to shout out a few people. Obviously, there's a few metal people I saw. Donald made a 14-hour drive to be there in person. Did that in a day. What an absolute stud. Shout out Beyond Display. Ended up hanging out with her for a little bit. Her and Soul were there. But then we ended up having, my God, dude. Met up with Jester. Dude, Gavalanche. I almost forgot. Gavalanche was in a twos tourney at Boston College, open enrollment with Donald. Yeah, Donald was on his own team, but Gavalanche and Ghosty were a partner, and they ended up making it to the finals. They lost the finals, but they played against FaZe's sub and like a top 100 player. So they almost got that $500 payout, and that tournament actually finished up on Sunday, on Championship Sunday, at the same arena we were doing we were watching the RLCS championships at. So big shout out to him. He was a lot of fun to hang out with. So, but speaking of championships here, we'll go ahead and we'll kind of get moving on past the recap. We'll move through our exclusive 8, and then we will start getting into our AMI champions. But first, your exclusive 8 videos of the week. If I can get it going, because I am on top of everything. There we go.
Oh my.
So that was your exclusive 8 video of the week here. Like we've been trying to do, I will go ahead and have that up in Discord. Haven't quite figured out Streamlabs yet to get that rolling for the voting system in there, but look for it shortly after the podcast. We'll have the vote up. You can vote for who you think is the best. I'm not going to, I probably shouldn't throw anybody's names out there. But anywho, before I start swaying the vote, I want to bring in someone I am super excited to interview. So unfortunately, our original guest couldn't be here, but we still have somebody from Elastic's championship team here for Amy making a clear-cut warpath to their first chip. We've got Mr. Kakashi Rage.
Hello.
Let me see if I can get this up here. Ooh, look at that. It's on the stream. You can see his name. Let's go. Look at all these tips and tricks I'm learning, man. I'm figuring it out as I go. Let's go. Anywho, Kakashi, first off, congratulations on your season 17 AMI championship, getting that title. You guys clearly earned it, sweeping Cathilla to get there. Shout out anybody who's ever said that you guys weren't gonna make it. Not gonna name names, but just shout out to everybody having a good time, Kakashi,
Appreciate it. It was a stressful playoff series for us, and that one, the finals was. But playing Cathilla, I went off in game 1, and that energy carried over to the rest of the team in game 2 and 3 for us, and we got the sweep there. And it was just that series was one of the easier ones. When we started playing rollers, we I guess we kind of stressed ourselves out a little more than what we needed to. And it kind of made it hard on us in game 1 through 3. But after we kind of all took that breather we needed, we started playing our game and came alive like we have been all season.
talk about stressful. Didn't you lose power in game 3 of the finals?
Yeah, I did. It was like within like a minute of the game, my power flickered on me, and it was crazy. But like I said, it gave me time myself to breathe a little bit, to calm down, to get my mindset in the game fully.
For sure.
That is a pretty good strategy. I might have to pull the power outage card if things aren't going our way in the first 45 seconds of a playoff series. That's pretty smart, Kakashi.
So I want to bring up something that was said in the RSC lower class Discord by your teammate Raichu. So last season he was traded to a different franchise who did not make the playoffs. This season joins a new team, and after he wins, he says all he needed were teammates that trusted him. And Raichu's a demon. He's a dog. And so, like, how does it feel just being able to play with a team that supports you? And how does it feel winning a championship?
Winning the championship, it felt amazing. It was just having Rye and Super and Casca on the team was great. They all supported each other perfectly. We all helped each other out. We all knew we had each other's backs. We trusted each other. Beginning of season, first time together, it was kind of an issue, a lot of double commits. But later on in the season, we kind of got that bond playing, like me, Rye, and Super. We decided to play a tournament through Rocket League itself one night, ended up winning it. Kind of got a little more chemistry going there with us. And then we kind of went on a tear. And then we got Casca. He was able to get more involved with us because bowling ended and whatever else he was doing, it kind of ended for him. And he was able to get more involved with us, which, we were able to trust him a lot more. And having Rye there was great. I mean, stuff that I knew I couldn't get to at that point, Rye was always there. And if Rye couldn't make the touch, Super or Casca was there to back that up. And it just kind of made the season go by and made it a lot easier on everyone, that we could trust each other and have faith. And it was great.
Good to hear.
Nice. Yeah, I actually got a question for you. So here's a little fun fact for you about your own team. You guys have now gone a month without losing a match night. An entire month. The last team that you lost to was Rollers on match day 9 on June 14th, and they swept you. You guys seem to have gotten the last laugh. Does that feel validated for you at all? Like, is there anything that after that match kind of clicked for you guys and you're like, all right, time to get grinding. We want to win that championship. Did anything change after that?
I don't know about the other guys. I know for me, whenever we did play the Rollers, we got swept. It was a horrible night for me because I kind of felt like I let the team down because I wasn't able to be there. They got swept. I kind of felt bad. So I kind of put a lot more time in on playing and working on stuff I needed to work on. And we kind of went into it with the mindset of we're making the playoffs. This is our season. We deserve this. We've had so much struggle all season. Like, I had my grandpa pass away mid-season. I continued playing through that. And it was one of them things where it was like a struggle, but yet having the guys around me. They brought me in like family, treated me great, was always there. And after that 4-0 sweep that Rollers got, it was kind of one of the things. We just carried our energy from the next match night over and kept going and carrying it. Is all it was, and it was a great feeling.
For sure.
Well, first of all, my condolences and all of our condolences, I'm sure,
Yeah.
for your grandfather. That he rest in peace. But kind of piggybacking off of some of this, right? Were there like any particular moments of adversity that like stuck out to you where it was, or did you ever have a second where you're like, we aren't gonna win this, right? Like, we're done for? Or was it always, was the faith that you guys would eventually figure things out and come out on top always there? Take me through that journey through the season, your confidence levels.
I think preseason preseason was kind of getting to know each other. We had a bad preseason, but when we come to the first match day, we got 3-1. I think at first it kind of was a little bit of doubt that it was going to be a hard season for us at that point. And then we kind of got to talking to the team one night. We just sat back and just talked at their match nights and realized we can do it. It don't matter. Stop looking at the whole series. Play the one game and then look at the next. And that's what we did the rest of the season, was play the one game, win or lose. We just looked at the next one and realized we can do this. We can beat these teams. We can win the championship. And we realized that all season, that if we did not look at the whole series as one thing and just game by game, we were good.
I would also like to really quickly shout out Super Threes. He was on the Cosmos amateur season last season, or amateur team last season for just a couple days towards the end. And the dude had a grind to improve that very few players have. And I'm not surprised to see that he ended up here winning a title with you guys. So again, congratulations.
I'll put it this way. Super himself was a great man to back me and Rye up. I mean, me and Rye, we like attacking through, we like shooting our shots in the air, passing off the backboard. Super was the great guy to do that for us, to get us that ball upfield. And he just kind of always had mine and Rye's back. Even if we missed it, he was there to cover us.
So I actually want to jump in because Rob brought up a pretty good point about, the whole mental fortitude for the team. At about the midway point, you guys were in a bit of a struggle, and I'll say that from being a fairly close person for the franchise, having done a few coaching sessions with you. One thing I distinctly remember was at one point, Misty and I were discussing whether or not the team needed a shakeup, whether or not the team needed to make some moves. And when they reached out to Raichu and said, hey, do you feel this roster is set? Do you feel like we need to make a trade or anything? Raichu's first response was, nah, we're solid. We're going to win the chip. He had 100% confidence in this team. And I got to say, Kakashi, it definitely seems that way from you guys, that you all really piggybacked off each other and you were all ready to just, all right, when's the next matchup? When's the next practice? When's the next coaching? Let's get this done.
Well, even if like Rye was great. He had faith in everybody. I loved it. We did have some struggles. There were some struggles that we did it. Like, I myself, I'm not gonna lie, I questioned on if the team would work. But I talked to Rye about it, me, him, and then me and him were talking. He goes, yeah, just trust me, believe in me. I said, all right, man, I'm gonna trust you here. We'll see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. And the more we got together, the more that we did. Sometimes we just all of us jump in 6-man's privates in the franchise with all the franchise and just play. But we'd make sure we were on the team and everyone else on other teams. And it kind of built our chemistry more and more, even though we might have, got destroyed one game because we were playing some really high tier players. But it was fun. We were having a laugh doing it. We were all joking around together, but that built the chemistry between us to where we all could have each other's backs and know for a fact that they were there. Like, there were some nights that we'd sit quiet in Discord while playing, but yet still know that our teammate was there to have our back.
For sure. And I'm really glad, honestly, that I got to be at least around to help, because you guys were fantastic to work with, honestly.
No, I appreciate that. I bet the other guys probably do too. But yeah, no, it was just one of them things. Like, the team itself, we fought hard and we had to prove ourselves towards the end of the season. Midway season, we were 5th place, and we had to come back, and we finished the season tied for 2nd.
I'd also like to one thing that you said that really struck me, specifically with you guys being an AMI team, right, is that you legitimately trust each other. And I think that every person in every tier of RSC that's watching right now, including our podcasters, right, like all of us, I think there is a tendency to not want to trust your teammate because they might not hit every ball, right? But at the end of the day, if you are okay with your teammate, you trust that your teammate will put forth their best effort and you play according to that, and you genuinely, wholeheartedly believe in them as a player and uplift them when the mistakes are made and focus on that positivity as a team, something that it sounds like you guys did from a very early point in the season. That is especially impressive for an amateur team, and I think that every team in all of RSC could really benefit from trying to emulate that mindset. Even if they don't actually trust their team, they need to play like they do. And I think it's really cool. That's what led to, or at least heavily contributed to, this win for you guys, as teamwork wins chips, man. So great job.
That it does. And like I said, trusting our teammates, it didn't come, straight off the bat. It took us a minute. And me and Rye kind of sat down, and I told him one night, it was just me and him. I said, man, I promise you this. I know these guys. I've played against these guys, all combines that we're playing against. I said, I promise you this. They all do not none of them like playing super fast. I said, if we can get to playing fast and let me play aggressive and clear out the goal line, we will win games. And he trusted me, and we continued doing it all season. After about midway through, we decided to switch it up. And we started doing it, and, well, we just destroyed after that point. And we ended up winning our championship playing the way we do.
For sure. Ethan, anything from you there, my guy?
I don't know. It's just so cool to know, because Kakashi, you've been around RSC for a bit, and at least I think I'm remembering that correctly. And it's just so, because especially the lower tiers, you don't hear about them a lot from a lot of the people in the league. So you get to come on here, you get to talk about how much you enjoy your team. And I mean, I won a championship at a lower tier too, and it's all about trusting your teammates, even when you're not the best and you're gonna miss the ball. But if you have faith in your teammates, you can accomplish anything. And I just think that's so commendable of you and your team.
That's 100% fact. If you can trust your teammates, you can win almost any game. It don't matter how good the other people are. If you can trust your teammates and have that faith, then you can stop the double commits, and it'll help you guys. It'll help out any team a lot. But your point of me being around the league for a while, this is my first season playing, but I have been in the Discord I didn't play. I just was in the Discord.
Got you.
Hey, how long were you just chilling, lurking in the Discord here?
This 2 or 3 seasons now. I just didn't feel like playing because
My God.
I had court going on over my daughter.
Fair.
You think
Fans,
that RSC comes after your custody of your child, man? Come on. You gotta put those AMI matches where they belong, at the top of that list, man.
You just won a ring.
Jokes
Where's your
aside,
ring at,
man. Okay, buddy.
That's crazy.
Congrats again on that title, and also good on you for actually having your priorities straight, right? Real life always comes first at the end of the day. This video game, as cool as it is, right? So commendable again that you are focusing on what actually matters. So Keep that up.
Appreciate it. I just kind of want to send a thank you out to Misty and Bio and everyone from the Energy franchise that had enough faith to trust in me after what happened in the RSC chat with some stuff that I didn't know nothing about.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, man.
I do have one more question for you in particular, which did you guys have? So amateur is a pretty small tier, right? So there's only 8 teams. And so what I'm wondering is, was there someone who you guys really didn't want to face in playoffs? Was there a rival of some sort? Was there anybody who stood out to you guys as like the main threat, or were you just confident that this thing was yours all the way through?
No, I wouldn't say there was, like, for me, I don't know about the other guys, like I said, I can't speak on their behalf, but for me, there wasn't no team I was really scared of or did not want to play, because, like I said, I had faith, and I told, like I always told the guys every match night, I told them, we can win this. We can win this. After every game, we can do it, boys, we can do it. Just keep the vibes up, keep the attitudes up, we got it. And that's all we needed to do all season. If our trust and chemistry would have been there in the beginning, we would have had probably a lot better season than what we had and didn't have but our talent we never know, and the downfall helped us build better as a team.
For sure. Now, I do have one last question before I am done here. Question for you. Obviously, in AMI, it's pretty easy to get promoted out of, especially when you have a solid season, and especially when you can players like Raichu are likely to be double promoted. This Elastic team, for the most part, if I remember right, is likely going to be either just Super 3s and Casca, or potentially just Casca. How do you feel this AMI team is going to fare next season?
Well, if all the scouting's done right, like it was this season, if the scouting's done great and we can get the right people for the amateur team, I feel like they could do it again, really, because Casca, he's been working really good, and he's been working crazy, and he's gotten, I mean, I've seen a growth out of him that's been crazy as could be, compared to when we first started the preseason to the end of season. I mean, the man was grinding, I mean, trying to get better all day, every day, and it was crazy. Like, Super 3s, man, great guy, great teammate to have around. I mean, if you can't trust anyone on your team, you could at least trust him. It's just one of them guys that was always there in the right spot at the right time.
Fair point. Fair point. Ethan, do you guys have anything else, or are we all good to wrap up the interview here?
I'm good. Congratulations, and I cannot wait to see what comes next for you.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, let me think carefully about what I'm going to say. Are you under contract right now? Don't want to get caught poaching live on the podcast.
Oh,
but,
that'd be brutal.
You're a
There's
great
multiple
player,
lawyers
Kakashi.
in here, man.
I'm assuming that the guy who won the title is probably going to be wanted by his GM, but if not, instead of let me know what your plans are. If you wanna come to the #1 franchise in RSC. We got a lot of fun. We do a lot of things, but most importantly, we win all our games. Man, sounds like you fit the culture.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
about any of this #6 stuff, but hey, man, come over, have a good time. If you're not sure what you're doing,
God. Kakashi, thanks for being on tonight. Once again, congratulations on your season, and for sure, man, can't wait to see what you do next season, dude.
Appreciate it. I just want to thank my teammates Rye, Super, and Casca. Man, they had my back all season. Couldn't done it without them.
What a humble
For
guy.
sure, for sure.
Congrats, man. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
it's
no
dope,
big
man.
problem.
Championship in your first season, let's see what
Who-
happens next, bro. Let's see
who
what
else
happens
would
next.
do
man.
Very
Back
few
to
players have
back.
that happen to.
Thank y'all so much.
Take it easy, Kakashi.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up our interview with our AMI champion Kakashi here. Let's swing in, though. Rob, I know you've got some really, really solid trivia questions for us this week, so let's see what you got, my guy.
Alrighty, starting off, any loyal pre-jump podcast listener may know the answer to this one. But question number 1, kind of relevant to a discussion that we're about to have as well. is who owns the highest win percentage in contender history, and what is it?
I know
it's
it.
either
I
that
gotta.
Dauntless team
I know this.
or it's this current Dagon team. I don't know though.
Oh man. I
Well,
know
it is this current Dagon team. They, with this 4-0, they set the official new win rate. They at 83.49% or something. They got it by 1 game. Shout out them. 3-1 wouldn't have been enough. 4-0 got it done. Now,
That's impressive.
so yeah, huge congrats to Dagon. 47-9 is ridiculous. And moving forward, we'll be talking about a little bit more about them. You know,
Oh, we'll get into that.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, moving into our second question, right? This is going to be a fun one that we'll also get a little bit more into later. Is who led Prospect in goals this season?
Galactic. Dude's a dog. He's a demon.
I have no idea.
You got 5 seconds.
Iro.
That's a great guess. Maybe if he was on the Cosmos, he would have.
Yeah. Maybe if he had-
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
neither of us are in
That's
playoffs
all right.
anymore.
Maybe if he had me to set him up, he would have. But
Real, bro. 3/4 of the way through the season, he had somebody setting the 10D assist record.
Yep.
Lining that man up. Anyway.
Ah,
Biscuit King is the guy in first. He's my MVP pick. It was either them or Dark Matter, right? The winner of that option, of that matchup, I took as my overall Prospect champion. And he ended up knocking my Prospect team out, right? So you know what that
Nah.
means. We'll get it again more into that shortly. But shout out Biscuit King as well, right, for putting together a ridiculous season so far. And the last one is who leads all of RSC in assists? Hint is that it is 2 names that they're tied. There are 2 names that we've discussed several times throughout this pod. Not this pod episode, but this season.
I know one of my players is first in elite, or used to be. So I'm just gonna go with DJ.
peaceful.
I know at one point in time there was a teammate for the Wheelman 95 because he was like leading the league in like goal rate, and his teammate was killing it assists.
So you guys have combined to guess all of the wrong tiers. One is in
What's the
vet,
tier? What's the tier?
One is in rival.
Vet and rival. What?
Is it
It's not Riki, right?
It is not.
Doty or Reaper?
It is neither
Oh.
of them.
That's
Okay,
right. Riki
okay.
was most saves for
Can I
rival at
guess
one
What
point.
team started out 16-4 with 4 players, the top 4 MVP?
Oh, possessed.
Yep. And who is the
Yeah.
player who is putting up those crazy stats?
Is that Raccoon?
It is AOS Arctic with
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
49
okay.
assists. And who else has 49 assists in rival? Right? What team might have that?
I have
Someone
no
on
idea.
Hammerheads.
Probably Hammerheads,
Probably
right?
the Hammerheads, right?
Oh, I casted them. I couldn't tell you a single player on their teams.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
So it is
man.
actually Defiance is God in AOS Arctic, tied at 49 assists so far this
Wow.
season. So it's been cool, right? Because both of those guys started out this season looking crazy, right? And they're people we've been talking about since week 1. So it's interesting to watch someone put up statistical anomalies of seasons throughout the entire thing. So shout out both of those guys, right, for just dominating day in and day out. 49 assists is crazy.
Yeah.
That wraps up Rob's RSC trivia. Boom, boom, boom. Finger guns.
Once again, Rob, thank you for your trivia. I always look forward to it, even though I seem to get all of them wrong nowadays. You come up with some real stumpers, man. I love it.
That's what I'm here for. It's got to be something. It can't be too obvious, right? It's got to be something that you got to work for. You got to think about. So, and segues into our points, which, boss, take us away, big guy.
Actually, I was going to say, before we really get into championship talk here, which I need to kind of bring up there's a bit of a change in the schedule for what I was originally informed about. But I want to bring up the fact that, if I remember right, the Hammerheads actually need a true sweep this upcoming week to break the all-time winning percentage record for any tier. We originally talked about it before, Rob, about kind of tracking some of these incredible stats that are going on. But the one downside is
they need an 8-0.
well, they're
they are
52 and
currently
8. They're
yeah, they're
52 and 8.
52 and 8, and the highest win rate of all time among any team is 59 and 9.
If they go
So-
56 and 8,
Oh, yeah.
they will have the record. So they have to sweep, but if they can sweep on this next night, it will be the record. Like, it's guaranteed, it's theirs. So we'll have to keep an eye on it for sure. But let's go ahead and jump into our final segment of the night. The last thing we're going to be talking about is next week's championship matches. Now, I was a little misinformed here. I knew about the 17th matches, which are going to be Prospect and Contender. I thought the 19th, based upon the sheet I was looking at, was going to be Elites and Shally. That's not the case. On the 19th, it's going to be Master and Premier. So, a little bit of a mix-up there. My bad. Unfortunately, I am human like the rest of us, but let's go ahead and start talking about this contender tier. Let's talk about who's up, who's on deck. Do we have the to know who's going to be on that finals matchup?
Let me tell
It's
you
going to be
something.
Dagon and Ice. Number 1 seed out of Lunar and the number 3 seed out of Solar. And Ethan sounded really excited, so now that we have the matchup and everyone knows what's going on, it's that win record team and the number 3 seed out of Solar. Ethan, take us away. Let's hear what you got to say.
When you got Sugar Biscuit, the greatest fourth man of all time last season, he comes in, brand new team, starter, breaks the win record, and to be completely honest, they're going to dominate. They might even sweep. And you want to know why that is? Maybe they'll give him a game because they feel nice. But
Why, Ethan? Why is it?
because Dagon has gone 23 and 1 against Solar this season, and their only loss
God
was
damn.
to Ice. But I'm not gonna lie, Solar doesn't stand a chance. It's been a lunar conference all season, and the other team that really gave Dagon a run for its money was Ionic, I believe. But they're out. So it's Dagon's to lose, and Tech 4, he's trying to go back to back.
Piggybacking off that, man, I agree. I think that the Lunar finals, right, the conference finals on the Lunar side, or the semifinals overall, is going to be essentially I think, in my opinion, that was kind of your finals match. In Solar, right, Ice has a 26 and 30 record. So they were blessed with a path to the finals. And if anyone can turn it around, shout out Chulane, his team could.
Is there a chance that a
Really
losing
quickly,
record team wins the chip?
No. I mean, I guess
I don't want to say that they've had an easy path to this final because they're coming in as the 3 seed. They barely made these playoffs. They had to beat Drake's in the quarterfinals, and then they beat my aluminum team. Honestly, kind of dismantled them. I was helping them out in the VC during that game, and Ice was looking pretty good. I think Dionic might have to be a little bit more careful than they have been in the past with some other teams and not go into the finals too overconfident that they're just going to walk all over this Ice team because they've got some shooters on that team.
Hey, hold on. You want to talk about some shooters? We got to talk about my boy T-Dog.
Wasn't
T-Dog,
T-Dog
yeah.
plays I can't remember if he was I knew he was an all-star last season, whatever tier he was in, but was T-Dog plays an MVP for his tier last season?
He was the Ambi MVP last season. And oh my. He can ball. That man's nice. I don't think he's nicer than Dagon, but he's gonna get his.
One thing that I will say, right, is that if there is any way that Dagon loses, I think it's that they, as Home said, right, comes into it a little bit complacent. If you just took a really tough best of 5 against another like 40, what's the exact record for them? 43 and 13 team, right? Like you come into that locked in saying, okay, if we win this, we got an easy path, right? There's a chance that you can take your foot off the gas, get caught off guard, and all of a sudden a series just goes just like that, right? It can be gone in the blink of an eye. But when you're talking about, it's not just a 1 seed versus like a 3 seed that came out of a side and is peaking, right? You're talking about a team that has 21 more regular season wins. They could have just not played 5 series and still had more wins than the team they're about to play. So I guess what we're getting at, right, is we know that Dagon is the more consistent team. They perform at a higher level on more days. But what we don't know is, can Ice for 1 series play like they need this, right? Because if they can, they're in a spot not many 26 and 30 teams get to, but they are in a spot to 73-9 Warriors, man. Doesn't mean a thing without a ring. People call
Oh man!
Listen, look.
How you gonna kick me while I'm down like that, man?
Oh my goodness.
You're a Warriors
People call
fan?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Ew.
Anyway, people want to say this is over, and I think on a talent point,
It's
on a
over.
consistency point, it is. But that is all on the on-field Rocket League. What
Yeah,
I
but-
need to see is, does Dagon have the ice,
All right.
or does Ice have the ice?
All right, but here's the
Oh
thing.
my! No,
Here's
I
the
want to
thing.
pop in. I've
Here's
been
the
quiet over here. I'm
got it. I'll let
jumping
you
in.
take.
Let me cook. All right. I'm just saying it happens. All right. Teams get hot at the right time. You know, people can be great during the regular season and then collapse towards the midway or collapse right into the playoffs. I mean, we saw that with the Wasps for the Swarm season 15 first round. Like they had an amazing season. First rounded, instantly gone by a team that barely scraped into the playoffs. So I'm just saying, you just got to get hot at the right time. You know, one thing happens, one thing leads to another, and boom, now you got a ring on your finger.
You want to talk about getting hot at the right time? Not to toot my own horn or anything.
Oh,
The last season, we were one of the lowest seeds in there, the 3 seed out of our conference. And hey, I get what you're saying, but Ice doesn't have LeBron James on their team.
Are you saying Dagon's got the LeBron James of contender?
I'm saying,
He's saying they can't beat the 73 and 9.
yeah,
team.
I'm saying Dagon's
Alright.
got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and KD, and Ice has got Nuggets, Carmelo Anthony.
Oh man.
Wow.
I mean,
I
Nuggets
will
Carmelo
say-
Anthony was pretty cold, but I'm not.
He was a dog.
He
A
needs a
T-dog,
lot
but
more.
He ain't nice. He ain't winning no title.
We'll see for sure.
Well,
We're gonna have to.
It's looking a lot like it's not Astro. Might have to pull off a Dirk Nowitzki type run to the finals here.
Oh god, now we're getting really hard into the Oh my god.
Well, I will say, Ice has 3-1 both of their playoffs, right? So they are beating, if they are going to compete with this team, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do. They can only beat who's in front of them. Granted, both of those teams are below 500, but if you want to play for a title, you got to beat who's in front of you, no matter what the route is. And so it will really be fascinating. I don't know. This is something that we could look into as a podcast team, but I don't know if there's ever been a finals matchup between teams that have a 21 win difference. I think that is insane.
We might have to do some
pretty crazy.
regular research here.
I don't know. It's just, yes, there's technically a chance. It's just, when we talked about contender before, the best player, the worst player on Dagon would be the best player in terms of SPV on Ice. Solar's just not competitive.
The thing is, you're talking about how they got here, right? Because I agree with you.
But
Like,
they're here.
Solar-
They're here now.
Exactly.
And just as you
so-
said, they 3-1, but they 3-1 2 teams that were under 500. They're not prepared to face a team this good.
I'm just saying, all it takes, just getting hot the right time. But I think we beat contender to death here. We're gonna have to just kind of wait and see what contender looks like. We've still got 3 other matchups left to go. Let's get into prospect a little bit.
I can say more.
Prospect, Rob, my guy, Rob.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up?
I was assured that there would be a certain team in the finals.
All right.
All I would like to say is, so really quickly, one of the things that I really when I shouted out the mods and the admins previously, it was because of the way that we essentially we had a discussion in GM Hub, and where I raised a point. And so this is essentially my serious suggestions post right now, which is that one team that we played. So if you are the higher seed, you get home field advantage. You get to pick what server it's on, right?
Sure. Sure.
And so I think that's totally great. I think that's wonderful. But I was, as Hum was in that whichever tier we were. You said you were in your team's VC, right, for their
Mhm.
games. I was doing the exact same with my prospect team. So I was not only in the VC, I was in the lobby. So I was actively watching. And it was really interesting because the team that they played against chose West servers. So, but all 6 players in the lobby actually had worse ping on West than on East. And so it's an interesting discussion. I'm not saying a change needs to happen, but in my mind, I think it kind of cuts against the competitive integrity of the league if your home field advantage is not where you play best, but it's where the other team plays worst. I think that is. And so what I'm proposing is essentially that players have a home. It is a strategy. It is a strategy. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. The rules are set in a certain way where it is using the rules to your advantage. Nobody is objecting to that. But what I do think is that the rules should be put in place to where everybody gets to play. The home team gets to play the best. And if they play the best on East servers, if their ping is 40 lower on East than West, I think they should essentially have a role selection where you say, this is my the region, right? This is what I play in. And once playoff comes around, you essentially already know what you have the home tier or home server of each player. And so this is all going back to shout out Monster Misfits, incredible team, incredible season so far. They beat my very, very good prospect team. So good for them. It's 2 back-to-back overtime losses on West servers where every single player in the lobby had over 70 ping. I think if it's played on a neutral server, that it may do differently. But it is what it is, right? And so end monologue about the rule thing, right? I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was But shout out their team. They are incredible. And as if we refer back to my last week's those are the current rules, Panther. Shout out to last week's podcast, or 2 weeks ago, where I said the winner of Monster Misfits and Dark Matter is taking the entire tier, and I still wholeheartedly believe that.
Who is in the finals for Prospect?
There is no finals yet.
in the
Semis and finals
semis.
are on the same day. But can I talk about my own series for a second? So we lost. We got swept. It's whatever. It happens. But I don't know. Like I feel like if every game was on East and I got to play all 3 games, because it was just some unfortunate scenarios and unfortunate timing where I had to play on a hotspot for one of the games, and I couldn't play on West servers. My ping was that bad, and it's not like I'm a slouch or anything. I missed the All-Star selection by like a game, by like a couple points of SPV. So I don't know. I just think it could have been different. But for the other series, for the teams that are still alive, and if I can recap the rest of Prospect, especially the Lunar side, where the first wildcard game was Barbarians versus Pepperoni Pizza, and Pepperoni Pizza reverse swept to make it into the quarterfinals, where they would play Pulse, the 1 seed, the team that everyone had making the finals out of Lunar, except for like my own team, because I'm not gonna pick against my team. But that series went to game 5 overtime, and my boy Panilla iced up and eliminated the 1 seed and the team with the best record in Prospect, where they will now play Monster Misfits as a chance to go to the finals coming out of the wild card. And I think they have a good shot, in my opinion.
So
And
wait,
what?
what teams are in the semis right now?
Pepperoni Pizza versus Monster Misfits, and Whiskey Business versus Undead. And if I must talk about Whiskey Business, I gotta talk about Ari. Played him at the finals last season. He's him. And he actually left the Detention Demons, who ended up making the playoffs anyways. He leaves that team, goes to a new team. They get the 1 seed in their conference. They sweep the Beagles, who made it out of the wild card there. And I think they're winning the whole thing. And I think they're going to do it very convincingly.
I just want to point out, Rob, my bracket's broken. It's totally, it's
A
gone.
lot of
Like
brackets are broken.
my finals was supposed to be between fruit salad and pulse. So
I love the confidence.
Yeah, I believe that I had Whiskey Business versus Munster Misfits or Dark Matter / Munster Misfits. One of those, the winner goes through there, and then they play Whiskey Business. My whole bracket might actually still be alive. Just saying, except for that one.
let's see here. You had Whiskey Business and Dark Matter making it to the finals, and you had Dark Matter winning it all.
Yeah.
Listen.
But remember, those two teams, whichever one, I'm gonna reference this again, is winning the whole thing because that was the tape.
It's just you're not. Ari's breaking the curse. He got screwed out of the finals last season by the greatest contender team ever. He's getting his now.
Yeah, that greatest team of all time, by the way, the number 3 seed. Just so you know.
Yeah, we kind of stopped in the regular season or whatever. Yeah, no. Whiskey Business are the highest seed left, and
I've got faith in Whiskey Business.
oh, I do too.
They're also my
they're
pick to win it.
nasty.
100%. So Wednesday's matchups, though. We got Master and Premier. Wait, are they doing Master and Premier on the same day? I know they normally mix up
They
like
are.
Oh man. I know they normally mix up like a lower tier and an upper tier with like Prospect and Premier, but Master and Premier same day, man. Ooh. It's gonna be a lot of high quality content there. Master, who do we have making it to the finals right now?
So actually in Master, the semifinals are going to be played on the 17th and the finals on the 19th. And the semifinals on the Solar side, you got Fairies, the 1 seed, getting the first round bye, and then Hurricanes, who swept Orcas. They're making it in as
Isn't that
the
Prem?
3 seed. Yep, that's for Prem.
I'll say Master, my guy.
Oh, well, this is
Master has
We'll do
0
Prem first. We'll do
games
Prem
played in
first.
playoffs.
Forget
Master has not played a single playoff series
They
yet.
haven't played a
So-
single one?
Correct. So they have the 1-8, 4-5. Yeah, they just have all of their matchups to play. So we can discuss who our favorites are, but
Well, dude, no,
they-
Prem works. Sorry, you said Fairies and Orcas.
yeah, Fairies and Hurricanes, actually.
Fairies and Hurricanes. Okay.
And then Reapers and Megalodons on the other side.
Wait, Orcas got knocked out?
Orcas got swept by the Hurricanes. Yep.
Orcas and Peaceful got knocked out.
Yep.
Okay. I would have never expected it, honestly. In a sweep? Like a brew, like sweep.
All 3 games. 1, 2, 3.
Bruh, that is wild. Because they were the second best team overall. They were only back by 1 game, and they had the best player by far in Premier. So, holy cow.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's clear cut, right? I mean, I'm Fairies are probably going to take it all. I mean, they
Fairies
looked,
are
yeah.
taking it.
they just looked like head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd at this point.
it's a
Also-
Reek gap, to be honest.
Rig is nutty.
It's just a Reek gap.
True.
That's all it is.
True, it's just a read gap. Yep.
I will say, when we did our Premier and Master deep dive a few weeks ago when I was last on here, Hannon had the Reapers coming out of their side, so he might be right. But they're not winning. Fairies are disgusting.
I've watched the Fairies play before. Like, I've watched some of their footage. They look insane. Like, as a team, they function far too well for an RSC team.
Yeah, Rig is nasty. It helps his teammates are just as good.
I mean, it does.
I would also like to shout out on the Reapers. My boy Andy. I used to team with Andy like 3 years ago. Actually, like before I ever got into RSC, before anything, we were both just like GC1 scrapers. Like we had just hit GC1 at the same time. This is like around free to play, I believe. And I actually cut him, and now he won like back-to-back Masters championships, and now is in a Prem semifinals. So Shout out Andy for making that the silliest move I've ever made as like a captain of a team. You're a dog. You always were. You're just mechy as hell, and now it seems like you're putting everything together, bro. So shout out that guy for just constantly improving, constantly grinding. I see him in here in 6-man's RSC all the time. I've been watching him go up the tiers, keeping an eye on him. He's one of the guys I first knew. And it's really cool when you get to watch players improve and win and do so in different ways, especially ones you've been around for a while. So shout out the homie.
For sure. Does anybody realistically though have a different pick for Prem outside of the fairies?
I actually got the Megalodons.
You have the
Winning it
Megalo.
all.
Okay.
Yeah. They
Porque.
might seem like a little bit of an outside pick, but I just think that they've been clicking, honestly. And Treco knows how to build good teams. We've seen it. His elite team, his rival team, the last 10 seasons of teams that he's built have all been at one point or another championship winning teams in certain tiers. And I just think this Megalodons roster has something about it that just, I don't know. They ended the season a lot stronger than they started, and that is something that I really look for when picking championship teams. You always have to end the season hot. Like, that is the biggest indicator of how well you're going to do. It doesn't matter if you're a 52-8 team if you end the last 2 match days by going 0-8. That's pretty good. That might affect your playoff standings, and Megalodons have been going off the rails these last couple nights. They're 12-8 through the last 5 match days, only bettered by the top 2 teams, Orcas and Fairies. One of those are already out. The other team, they'll most likely meet in the finals. But I'm honestly looking at Insanity to have an insane moment and just carry his team to the chip. Man's got 49 goals and 34 saves with 43 goals, 34 assists with 103 saves in 45 games. Those are bonkers numbers to me. I don't know how he does it.
Also, Distant on his team is a dog too.
Distant is
he is
absolutely bad. Yeah.
I don't know if he was a former Cosmo player, but at least I met him through my current AGM and former GM Ty.
Trying to figure out if he's going to homer him or not.
No, this is no homering. This is just how I know a Prem player. And I have heard a lot of good things about him. Heard that he's a crackhead in a good way. Oh, shout out Yeaton Time for 3 gifted subs. Clap. And Ethan actually
Thank you,
got
my
one of
guy.
them. That's hilarious.
Ethan was gifted a sub while playing. That's crazy.
Yep,
Mitch
he definitely will be missed.
Thanks for being the best GM. We will all miss Jester and everything he did for helping us. But yeah, basically Distant is a dog, and so the Megalodons are a good pick. I really think it's just anybody's race, right? Like, once you get to the top of the top, it's so close. Like, the skill differences are so minute. The openings are almost exclusively from bumps, demos, right? It's not a mechanical skill gap. It's not even usually a mental gap. It's an execution gap, if you will. Who makes the game easier, simpler, who can execute their plan at a higher level. And that's when it gets really difficult to predict, man. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah. I think Prem's pretty squared away. Master, though, I mean, I know nobody's played yet for Master, but what are we expecting here out of this Master tier? Like, it's 8 teams, right? Just the best 8 teams. There's no conferences, there's no divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be getting Spectres on up. So we're going to have Basilisk, Oblivion, Blues, Forgers, Blackout, Glacier Mint, Stampede, and Spectres as your 8 teams.
Yep.
Does anybody have a pick? I'm going to say Basilisks because, I mean, realistically, come on. Does anybody have a different pick that they've been paying attention to that they're like, no, this team is the real deal. They're going to be making it here.
The Blues.
I got
Blues
2.
the,
Yeah, it's Blues and Forgers for me.
Don't the Blues have the MVP?
Most likely, yeah. Hawk RL.
Yeah.
Hawks on the Blues and kind of well-known not Cosmos.
Thank you for the bits, my guy. Thank you. Just want to point that out there before we keep going.
Of course. kind of a well-known RSC name. Ghosty, former Prem player, dropped down to Master, putting up some really good statistics for this Feta Forgers team. They have been pretty solid. What is the exact last? So they are 11-9, right, in their last 5 match days. The Blues are only 10-10, but again, when you have arguably the best player in a tier, right, you can beat anybody. I think the obvious picks here are just the Basilisks and Oblivion. It's the 1 seed by like 4 games, and then a team that's 16-4 in their last 20. So they're the easy ones. But that said, again, man, Master is a high enough level where it really is anybody's game. Once you get to these playoffs, I mean, almost every single team is within 5 games except for the Basilisks, right? You have 7 of the 8 teams right next to each other. One match day could flip that entire thing on its head. So it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, AB Panther pointed out Blackout could be sneaky. They did go 15-5 in their last 5 match days, so they're really getting hot at the right time. We'll kind of have to keep an eye on them as well. Same with Oblivion; they're 16-4. So we'll see. It'll be kind of just really, what to expect. Really, what we're looking at here.
I would say Oblivion is probably, like, looking just at the statistics of how they've been performing recently, looking at the SPV sheet, looking at like all of the numbers kind of point to them as your favorite. They have 4 players in the top 120 or so in SPV, just looking at it right now. They have 2 players in the top 5 or 6 with Boog McCrug and Infinite. Shout out the homie. I mean, they are, again, like we said, 16-4 in their last 20. They are dominating every type of statistic. And I don't exactly know what their last 5 match days have been. I don't know if they've been playing the best teams in the tier. But to execute that at a level this high, we talked about it, right? With Ice against Dagon. All it takes is getting hot at the right time. And this is one of the best teams in the tier. The number 2 seed is getting hot at the right time. And that's dangerous for everybody else.
True.
Yeah, that Oblivion team is definitely my pick to win. They haven't lost a series. Going back, one of those also things that I look at when picking out these tier winners. They haven't lost since match day 6. That was the last time they have lost a series, and they got swept by the Feta Forgers. So looking at every single match since then, it's been consistent 2-2s, 3-1s, 4-0s against every single team that they've played, and I think
Have
they're
they
going to keep
played
rolling.
the Feta Forgers again since then, by any chance?
They've not.
I think that right there, if that matchup were to happen, I don't have the bracket in front of me. I could, though.
Could be a repeat of like
yeah.
what we saw in
That would be
in
a
Miami.
finals matchup.
And I think that those are 2 of the 4 or 5 teams that were kind of consensus or up there. And if Oblivion is the hottest team right now and Feta Forgers had their number, I think that could lead to a crazy matchup.
Yeah,
It
definitely
also
something I'd
could
wanna
be
watch.
extra motivation for Oblivion, though, like the Emmys team, where we saw good old Elastic decide, hey, we're gonna get some revenge here on the Rollers in the finals. It could be the same way.
Absolutely. I think there'll be fuel from both sides, right? You'll have one team thinking that they got the other team's number, and you got one team doing everything that they can to prove that they don't. So there's so many potential matchups that could happen here that are really, really exciting. It's cool. It's a lot.
I want to bring up one team, the 7 seed Stampede. From the last time I checked, because I'm not gonna lie, don't really keep up with the super high tiers.
Crazy.
They were the 4 seed at a time, and you're a top 4 team in your tier. You definitely have what it takes to win the whole thing. And so they've fallen a bit, but what's stopping them from peaking? It's the playoffs. People
That they
get
put
nervous.
Jackson on IR.
Never mind.
Dog, I don't know exactly why.
Jackson has
He's a
won
monster.
Master MVP before.
I just love that as soon as he's like, oh yeah, Jax got put on IR, he was like, nah, we're okay, you're right, not happening.
I queued into him in a ranked 2s game today. Actually, I went. I had a little nice 6-2 session, and he was one of the 2. and it wasn't particularly close. But so yeah, I mean, if Jackson were there, right? I'm not saying that they can't pull it out, right? But pause. But if Jackson were there, I think that it's a potentially different conversation, like exactly what you're getting at. Because that team did perform at a level where they could take it all, and they have the talent to do so. Shout out Bex and Polar Bear. They got a bunch of my homies over there on that team. But with their current roster makeup and the way that they've been performing and the way that other teams have been performing, I think they've taken a couple steps back, right? Where a lot of other teams have taken a few steps forward, and that they still have a chance, right? All they had to do was make playoffs. But it'll be really interesting to see if they can turn these things around as we approach this time, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Does anybody else have a final thought process on Master before we kind of wrap things up here?
Nope, I'm good.
Rob, you got any good Sunday plans coming up?
I mean, hopefully I'm Oh, first of all, Panther makes a really good point going back to Prospect that Pepperoni Pizza actually swept the Munster Misfits earlier this season. So that'll be something that's really interesting to watch in that semifinal matchup. But hey, Master, you guys better watch out. I'm hoping to be there next season. You better be careful.
Oh
or I'm
man, he
gonna
wants to be with
talk
the Slugs.
negatively about you on the podcast.
Am I hearing?
If
Am I
you-
hearing a? Am I hearing a Quasars win the title when Rob goes to Master?
Look, man.
Look, that is a wild statement.
I don't even think I got a bunch written. We were originally going to discuss Elite this week. I have a lot of
Write it
points
right
that
now.
I would like to make. First things first, just because it was discussed and it was suggested as a podcast talking point, I feel remiss not bringing it up. This week,
Let him cook.
you had your 49-11 Great Whites reach out to your Quasars and ask them
Talk your
to-
talk.
Yes, sir. They asked us for a best of 7 series. Treat it like playoffs. It is and I quote their captain, whoever wins gets to go farther in your predictions on Saturday. We not only won, but we won 6 out of 7 games for an entire hour, missing our third starter. So if that's the team that's 49-11, and they're beating everyone else, and it's felt pretty easy to beat everybody else, and the only time that we haven't won a series was with 2 subs. The only 2-2s that we have are against good teams on either bad ping or with subs. Every time that all of us have been here, we have dominated. We are second in all of RSC in assists. Sliders missed 20 games. I've missed 15. Revan's missed 10. We have the best team play in RSC, the highest assist to goal ratio at 83% of our goals being assisted. We simply operate at a higher level, and that's not any negative to anybody else, right? We have been a team for almost 4 seasons, the group of us. We play in other leagues. And so again, no dig to anybody else. But I believe that we work harder. I believe that we study more. I believe that we execute at a higher level. And I think that when in a playoff situation, if we 6-1 in games, take 6 out of 7 games against a team that's lost 11, not the higher playoff seed, I just said our starters missed 40 combined games, Dyer. You gotta listen. Anyway, 40 combined games, and we're only 2 behind those guys. So that's a little bit of a silly point to bring up. But moving forward, there's a lot of signs that point to us simply being the best, and I wouldn't believe it if they weren't there. And that's kind of my talk about Elite. There you go.
Honestly,
And we're winning franchise of the season.
I'm just
Real.
saying, it'll be a great thing to talk about if you guys make it through playoffs when we talk about it next Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, sir.
Dude.
I don't actually. When will we have played? This might be a really stupid question. Will we have played playoffs by then?
I would suspect you have played
Yes.
some playoffs by then.
I think.
What is next Saturday?
You'll have wild card on Wednesday.
The next
Rob.
pre-jump podcast, week 12.
What day? But good plug.
Oh man.
Okay, yes. The first 2 rounds, wild card and quarterfinals, both happen in Elite on 7/19.
That's
which
Wednesday.
is that Wednesday. Yeah.
Yep.
So we will actually have that information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about semis for Elite and some finals for Elite. It'll be a fun little discussion.
And I will say, if we lose, whoever we lose to is winning the tier. So I would like to say, shout out to them. Do we want to do like a very like I do have a couple more paragraphs written on Elite. Would you like to save that, or
I would say
Would you mind?
save it because it would be a hellaciously great talking points to be like, look, I wrote this down last week. Look at me being the Mr. Fortune Teller over here.
Okay, I will give me 30 seconds. I'm just gonna say a couple points.
All right, clock's ticking. Let
Clock
that man
is
cook.
ticking. So I think that you have 7 teams that have separated themselves in the elite tier that are all above 35 wins, right? In Lunar, 5 of them are there. You have the 7 or the 5 seed in Lunar would be the 2 seed in Solar. So again, you see that dominance. What I believe that means is either the Sloths or Vibranium. Those are the 2 teams in Solar that really scare me. Sloths are 42 and 12 or 48 and 12, and Vibranium's a few more games behind, but they just did pick up a top 5 player in Elite. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
we had a
Forza.
slow start to the season.
Yeah, but you got Forza, and
He's insane.
I mean, you were a great team, and then you picked up arguably the best player in the tier, right? So that is a lot of potential right there. So I think it's one of those 2 teams coming out of Solar, and then you got a dog pile at the top of Lunar and Elite between the Sloths. Oh nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Great Whites at 49-11. Ghastly Goombas at 40 and 12. Azathoth have 39 wins. Quasars have 38 wins, and the Thunder have 40. Then there's a drop off of 8. Right, so one of those 5 teams is coming out of Lunar, and
I just want to give a
think-
big shout out to Krieger on that Goomba squad. He's a
Real.
fantastic guy to play with.
shout out Krieger. He's a beast. I think he's like 2 assists off of the entire RSC lead. But shout out Slider, my teammate, for leading all of RSC in assists per game. Hey, he would be number 1 if he hadn't missed 20 matches. He's actually down by 7 assists after missing 20 matches. So, like I said, we're built different. But Quasars take it all. I'm calling a Quasars Vibranium final, where I finally get my revenge on Forza for kicking me out of playoffs my MVP season. That's it.
Okay. I'm just gonna say tomorrow for anybody, just make sure you have a good day, take care of yourself, get ready for Monday's matches. They're gonna be fantastic, as we all know. I'm not sure who we've got on the docket for casting on Monday, but we should have the prospect and contender championships over on the RSC Solar.
You let me cast.
Hey man, I don't even see them setting up registrations for it. I know they kind of did it really last second on the AMI series.
I'd give it
Enigma had to cast with a bum that entire series. Thank God he carried it, not gonna lie. But for sure, for anybody tuning in, this has been the Pre-Jump Podcast, talking about cashing in the chips, getting ready for championship season. I've been Boss Radala. We've got Mr. Rob with us as always, Mr. Hum Diggity popping back in, and Mr. Iwu Kami, not comedy, guest starring on the podcast. Everybody, take it easy.
Seeing myself standing on the edge, about to fall. Don't know if you like to see me out there in need while I'm struggling to breathe on my own.